What's up, guys? Nico here. And in this episode of 3D Printed Profits, we have for you today Clayton Parker, aka Uncle Jesse, the man, the myth, the legend.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? So make sure that you guys, again, all the links in the description below if you guys are watching on YouTube.
And I need all of the subscribers I can. So
all of it.
Forget Nico's podcast. Pause the podcast. Go to my social media.
Yes, all the links are going to be in the description. If you're on YouTube, if you're on your favorite podcast player, it's going to be in the show notes down below. And also, as always, stay till the end. At the end of the episode for a product idea or a tip for you. If you guys are just starting your 3D printing side business, or if you want to scale and grow yourself for a product idea, stay till the end. We're going to give you some tips there. So let's start the show. Woo. Uncle Jesse, dude, how long have you not been friends, man?
Oh man, it's been like 22 years now, I think. I don't know, man. I think it's before you even started Nico Industries, if I remember correctly. I feel like we were chatting before you even started your really big side hustle. That's not a side hustle anymore. That's your bread and butter right there.
It's turned into a multi-six-figure operation. So yeah,
I know. That's anybody that's listening or watching this. Nico and I have been talking for many years now, and when he started his website, I immediately was like, "This mother effer." I should have done that. That was the best idea,
dude. Nah, you flatter me too much, man. It was actually. People don't know this, and I've told you this. It was actually Uncle Jesse who got me into 3D printing, you guys. He has a video. It has like, I think 2 million views at this point. The Batman one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's one of the big ones.
That one, dude. I was like, did this guy just make, and that was it.
That was before I even had a big printer. That was pre CR10 days. So you couldn't even print a full helmet. I had to print that, I think, in 3 parts. I had to slice that up and then figure out how to scale it to fit my head.
And that was at your old house.
Yeah. And then
you had like one little rack of all your stuff.
That was before I had like a setup and lighting and
the good old days,
a microphone and a proper camera. I think that was like a GoPro. And
so that leads into our first question of the day, man. So what got you into 3D printing? Like, how did you even find that?
Yeah, I mean, I got into it probably the same reason as you, is cosplay, man. Wanting to print and make nerdy stuff. Iron Man has been a huge inspiration. Iron Man, that first movie came out and it was like, I want an Iron Man helmet. And even before that, what I wanted was one of these, a Magneto helmet. I wanted my own Magneto helmet. And
who doesn't love Magneto?
That for me has been like the driving factor of not just getting into 3D printing, but that was my sort of my maker origin story. Was I got into first Pepakura. So before I was Uncle Jesse online, I had another YouTube channel where I was doing Pepakura tutorials because there just weren't a lot of tutorials on how to do Pepakura projects. I was like, oh, I'm going to make a Magneto helmet and figure this out and make some guides on how to do that. And it was so low quality and budget, but it was fun. And everything I just was working on, I was recording and posting. And eventually I got my very first 3D printer, and it was a MakerBot Mini. It was, I think, $1,300, and it has a build volume of like 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches. It's a horrible 3D printer. I've talked about it recently on my YouTube channel, where even though it was a horrible machine, and I got it back in 2014, 2015, something like that. It had a built-in camera. It had jam detection if your filament had, if your printer had clogged. It had a mobile app. It had wireless connectivity, and then
all the bells and whistles, huh?
And for like the next 4 years, 3 or 4 years, none of that stuff was on any of the printers that I had.
It was all unnecessary stuff.
Oh yeah, at the time, but I was like, man, this tech is amazing, and I didn't realize how bad the print quality was until I got my second 3D printer, and then which was BQ Whitbox, and I bought that because There's a girl online, Denise Peleg, who's in Israel, who made, I think, the first 3D printed fashion collection. She's gone viral a bunch on Instagram and Reddit and stuff, where she has like a fully 3D printed dress that's in multiple little interconnecting pieces that's very flowy, that she made again back in like 2015. And I ended up working with her through my day job at the time. And I found out she was using the BQ Wit box, and then I managed to get one of those off of Amazon on like a big, like one of their Amazon fire sales or some, whatever those are, lightning deals.
Yeah, the lightning deals. Yeah.
So I got a really good deal on that. And then it didn't have a heated bed, no camera, no anything like that, but it was bigger, and the print quality was like 1,000 times better than the MakerBot Mini. And then it sort of iterated from there. But at one point I got the I can't remember, Press Reset, I think it was, on YouTube.
Preston
at the time.
Yeah, and he was the one who would just
he originally I went to New York City. So I was on New York City for a business trip. I meet up with him. I go to his apartment. He's like, hey, check out this printer that I'm looking at. It's $500, and it's like 12 by 12 by however tall it is. And he was like, it's under $500. And I was going, what? And he's like, look how good it prints. And he had this huge statue that he had printed. And I was like, I'm ordering one of those right now. And I was like, I got back to the hotel and ordered one, and that was it. I was like, this is it. The CR10. And to this day, the CR10, the initial CR10 has been like one of my go-to cosplay.
Absolutely.
It's just
because of the massive build volume.
It's the massive build volume. There's a huge community. If there's any parts that I need, there's a zillion people selling them online. If I wanted to mod it, which I don't really mod any of my 3D printers other than maybe swapping out a 0.4 nozzle for a 0.6. There's tons of mods available for it. So by the way, when it comes to mod, there's so many people that are into modding their machines. I have zero patience, time to do any of that stuff.
All my CR10 S4s are stock. And they're like, how are you printing that well? Stock. It prints well stock. You don't need any of that crap.
I think, what's funny is I was talking to Frankly Built, and he was like,
he's scheduled.
Oh, nice. He's
scheduled.
Like, one of the tricks, he's like, the people just don't understand is if you like just do some basic maintenance on your machine, make sure the belts are tightened, that your bed's leveled, that everything's square, that all of the bolts are tightened down, you're more than likely going to have a really good printing experience. And that's basically all I have on my CR10.
Dude, seriously, there's nothing else.
And sorry, maybe a bed, one of the
flexi bed
sheets. Yeah, one of the bed upgrades. That's about it. But.
So now that you have your machine, right? You got into 3D printing. Describe to me what made the shift from your old Xbox videos and the Pepicura videos into solely 3D printing.
Yeah, it was an odd journey. I was dual wielding channels at one time. For anybody that doesn't know, my Uncle Jesse name that I go by online is my Xbox handle.
He, by the way, looks like Uncle Joey.
If you I do. It look nothing like John, and it is Full House reference, not Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. So the video and the caption are not matching. When you look, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah. So it's it was one of those things where my Uncle Jesse channel was Xbox videos, and I randomly posted about my MakerBot and then some other projects. And then I immediately saw that those were doing so much better view count wise. I was like, all right, well, let me make some more of those. And it was just a gradual transition. And I really haven't used that other channel in ages. And I keep saying I'm going to dust it back off and start posting other just random content there. But the Uncle Jesse thing, it's just kind of taken over with the 3D printing. And it's been a great outlet for me to just make stuff. And whatever I'm making, I'm always recording. If I'm wanting to work on something, like you're shooting me over a file, I'm like, hey, I want to print this helmet.
You seem to text me right when I'm at the gym too. Hey, I need this.
I know.
When I get home,
dude, you're up at like 5 in the morning. So
Zero
it's my
five, yeah.
time.
05.
the
I'm in the
East
gym.
Coast, he's on the West Coast, and I'm like, hey, I just saw you drop this file. I need to print that. Like,
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, let me when I get home.
But yeah, I mean, that it was just any way for me to express my creativity through that, and I'm continually learning and trying new things through it, where it's like, oh, what if I do what if I pour resin over my 3D prints and try to smooth? That's a bad example because I stole that from Galactic Armory, which who I admittedly I was like, dude, I'm stealing this, and he made the so Galactic Army, for anybody that's listening, is another YouTube guy.
We're talking to him next week.
Oh, perfect. He did a video where he was finishing, I don't know, some Star Wars. He does all Star Wars things, and was finishing his helmet. He was like, oh, I'm gonna paint on. He's mid video. He's like, oh, I'm gonna. He quickly goes over. I'm brushing on resin, curing it, and sanding it, and then he moves on. The next step. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was a huge step that you just brushed over. I was like, I have to try this, and I'm turning it into a full video of like testing this out, and it was awesome. It's such an awesome way to. It's another tool when it comes to smoothing your prints versus Bondo or wood filler or XTC 3D or whatever it is. I feel like I've tried dang
Resin
near
is
everything.
just so much more expensive though.
It is, and it's messier.
I like the wood filler with some water to smooth it
I
out.
tend to have
Okay.
like an excessive amount of resin.
A copious amount. If you guys are for those of you listening on the podcast, he just showed us his cart full of resin,
And that's just like, I don't know,
easily 30 bottles.
1/8 of the resin.
Easily 30 bottles. That's what happens when you're sponsored. So that moves on to our next thing. So you recently just achieved or surpassed a milestone, which is for your first full year full time as a YouTuber. So congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I called you yesterday about it just to congratulate you. And now everybody knows you're a full-time YouTuber. So congrats to Uncle Jesse.
Thanks, man.
So tell us what that's like. Because when it comes to that, we're gonna be real. It's the income, right? So I know I make an income from YouTube, and everybody knows that the ads on your videos do the same. So what other sources of income is there for you when it comes to business?
Yeah. I mean, hashtag sellout. And no, I mean, first it's been like it still blows my mind that I'm doing this as a full-time job, and I'm incredibly lucky. No, I'm not going to say lucky. I'm going to say I worked my goddamn ass off to be able to do this.
You sure as shit did.
10 years of
I remember you would text me, hey man, I'm going to be in Germany for a week. Why are you in Germany? Like,
yeah,
all right.
I had a pretty intense job previously to this. I was in the fashion software business, and left a pretty good paycheck there to do this full time. So, but it was one of those things where it's you get to a certain point where opportunities arise, and it's those that you have to make a decision. Are you going to try and go all in on this, or are you going to try and, I don't know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out type thing? So had a big sit down with my wife, and she was extremely encouraging, which was surprising about it. But I think she's the math person. She'll crunch the numbers and was like, yeah, we can make this work. Even if it doesn't, we can make it work for a little while, and then you have to find a job again. But thankfully it will work. But it's there's on the YouTube side, there's obviously there's sponsorships that you do outside of just the YouTube ad revenue, and I've had some amazing partnerships with companies like even yourself there, so thank you. But outside of that, man, I mean, one of the big ones for me is things like Etsy. So selling 3D prints. I mean, there is just you'd think like, oh, the market's too saturated. I can't get into this and make money. You're wrong. Like you're wrong.
Mhm.
It blows my mind of how much money is out there to be made when it comes to printing and selling stuff.
Mhm.
Assuming you get in at the right time and you're like, especially if you're ahead of trends or even as it's peaking with things. I mean, just think a handful of years ago with fidget spinners. That
Holy,
was
dude,
3D
someone made
printed
$20,000 in a month selling fidget spinners.
These little guys
Profit.
are here that I know are extremely popular still, which I more or less stopped selling, which is the 3D printed dragons.
Dude, there's so many iterations of that.
So there is, and one thing that I'm going to stress to people, since I know they're actively listening to this, that if you're not already on TikTok, get your ass on TikTok and start posting what you're making. I can't stress this enough. TikTok does an absolutely amazing job of getting your content in front of people. And I did a video last fall on the articulated dragon. This isn't the one that I was initially did. This is from Flexi Factory. But the original one was from Magai Beer. And it, within, I think, 24 hours, I had over 1 million views.
Holy cow.
And then people immediately in the comments, people were like, hey, can I buy this? Hey, can you print and buy this? And so I scrambled and went to the designer and I was like, bro, can we partner up? I want to start printing and selling these. Let's work out a profit share option for this. And I believe I was one of the very first that had been working with them and selling these. And the reason why I say that is because in one weekend, I sold $8,000 worth of dragons.
Damn.
One weekend. One week, the very first weekend that I put the dragons up for sale, and they
so consistently. Like, where are you at now?
Oh man, it's way slower. So last year, just to give you a frame of reference, last year I made a little over 40,000 on my Etsy shop, and I would say maybe 30 to 40% of that was just selling dragons.
That's a lot. That's a big chunk.
I sold a lot of dragons, but it was nightmare, like an absolute nightmare, printing all of them and getting them printed. So
yeah, I remember those conversations.
So it was, I think
I almost offered to help. Almost.
I think it was Thanksgiving. And we drove to North Carolina and I brought a 3D printer with me and was printing like as soon as we got there, I hooked it up, started printing dragons, so that it was like 3 days we were going to be gone. I was like, I can't lose out on printing while we're here.
Did you bring your work to North Carolina on vacation?
I did. Hey, my wife's fine with it now. She's like, whatever you
she was okay with it.
Yeah. She's like, as long as you keep showing me the money in the bank account. Yeah. Okay.
But that's awesome.
But it's no joke. I made $8,000 in one weekend on selling those dragons. I would list them. I put up like 40 at a time. And at the time of listing them, I was selling them for $45 a piece plus shipping. Now that's
a good price point. And people were buying it at $45.
Oh, yes.
All day long, huh?
All day long. As soon as I posted 20, they would sell out. And then so here's what I would do. The strategy behind it is I posted like 40 of them and I had it set for, it's going to take me, by the way, sorry, anybody if you haven't started printing and selling stuff, give yourself a buffer when it comes to actually producing and shipping things. Normally, I tend to not produce in advance what I'm going to sell, unless I know I'm going to continually be able to sell those things, like these dragons or some other items that I'll talk about. But because one of them is specific to you, Nico. And because if you think the dragons sold well, I've got another shocking stat for you.
Oh yeah, let's get into that later.
You need to just think about how long it's going to take you to print something, and printer downtime and maintenance on fixing printers and ordering filament and getting the filament in and stuff not going correctly and prints failing. You got to give yourself a little bit of buffer. So for, I think it was like the first 40 or 80 orders, I gave myself 2 weeks to print all of those.
Okay, so you put in a lead time for it.
I put in a lead time.
Did you put in that in the description?
I did. And
Good.
then when I sold those out, when those all sold out, I then pushed it out to like, what did I say? Did I say 2 weeks? I said 2 weeks, right? And then I pushed it out to 4 weeks, I think 5 weeks or 4 weeks. I can't remember. So I just basically kept extending it. And essentially I was printing and shipping dragons all the way up until New Year's, like 24/7. And then,
and this is pre-belt printer, right?
Oh yeah, this is a no belt printer. This was just me using like a Neptune 2S. I had multiple Neptune 2 printers because I was using those primarily for my Etsy shop. As soon as those started selling, like the dragons started selling crazy, I bought, I think 6 more. By the way, if you're looking for a good deal on printers, check eBay. Your favorite 3D printer company more than likely has an eBay shop. And I was able to get my Neptune 2S printers for like 160 a piece, which was
nice.
30 or 40 bucks cheaper than what you could find on Amazon.
Elegoo makes great products, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be partnered up with them if they didn't.
Yeah, that is not a paid shout out, by the way, guys. That is not paid at all.
Yeah, it's not.
I believe in Elegoo. They make such great products.
But for anybody that doesn't know, basically, I've had a long running partnership with Elegoo, and they just make awesome 3D printers, and they just friggin' work. Which is why, if they didn't work, I'd have a hard time promoting them, but they just fantastic, and their support's really good. So
awesome, bro.
But what I wanted to mention was about the dragons and this whole 8K ordeal. I made a massive mistake, like a massive mistake, which was I thought I could sell resin versions of the dragons.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about that.
Yes, we definitely had conversation about this, because I said, all right, it's going to take me 10 to 12 hours to print. I can't remember. It was 10 to, I'm making this up. I can't remember how long it was going to take. Maybe it's 8 to 12 hours to print a dragon in PLA. It's going to take me 45 minutes to print one dragon in resin.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going to print all these in resin. I've got so many resin printers. I've got a ton of backlog of resin. I was like, I'm just going to start cranking these out. Oh man, that was not a good idea. Like 50% of the time they would come out correctly. These dragons are a huge, one of the reasons why I really am not printing and selling them anymore is they're a massive pain in the ass to print and get properly printed, where they're not either fused together or the bottom layer in one of the pieces didn't adhere correctly, so it's screwed up, or the little high points here got caught and is ripped or something.
Is it a machine issue, or was it a slicing issue?
With the resin, it was a combination on the resin side. It was the resin that I was using, exposure settings, maybe the FEP sheet was worn out and that needed to be replaced. Maybe the screen was starting to go. There was just a culmination of issues that occurred, and I was stressing the hell out trying to get all of those done, which is when I ended up just switching everything over to filament from resin and just biting the bullet. And then in some cases, I had to reach out to the customers and say, hey, there's going to be a slight delay on your order. I'm refunding your shipping because of this, whatever that may be. Just letting them know that I was going to be running into a delay getting the prints done, because I needed to get them reliably printing. And on the resin side, oh, sorry, the other big thing with resin is, so I probably printed 100, 200 dragons in resin.
God.
So the printing part was fun and a challenge and messy. Resin printing is messy. And that's the first time I've really done mass bulk orders like that. I was well underestimating the cleanup process and how much IPA I was going to be running through and how many ultrasonic cleaners I needed to clean those.
When he says IPA, not like the beer,
oh yeah,
like isopropyl alcohol.
isopropyl alcohol is what you use to clean your resin 3D prints. And
Not
then,
like beer.
and then you need to UV light cure them, because the other concern is I didn't want to be shipping out resin 3D prints that had any residual resin on them, and then someone get like a chemical burn on their hand. There's a lot of concern with that. And then the flip side of it was, all right, I got these dragons done. I've started shipping them out. People were then emailing me like, hey, my dragon broke in the mail. Hey, I dropped my dragon and it shattered because it's resin. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this is, I love resin. I love resin 3D printing. And this might work fine for like miniatures and statues and busts and things like that, but not these complex dragons.
So you have to make sure you're picking the right material for the product.
100%. 100%.
So you went from TikTok, right? So was it all organic marketing is what happened with these dragons?
1,000%.
Zero marketing budget.
Zero marketing.
Holy cow.
I'm my own marketing person. I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second. And I, again, have busted my rear end. So if I have a product that I'm selling, I'm going to be damn sure that I'm going to be trying to post about that on TikTok. I'm going to be posting about that on Instagram. I'm going to be posting about that on Facebook. I'm going to be damn well including those in my YouTube videos. When I'm reviewing a 3D printer, here's a 3D printed dragon ball. And then in the listing, I might not call it out that I'm selling them, but in the listing of the video, there's a link to my Etsy shop where you can go and buy the file.
Dude, so, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but I was not, when I looked at my analytics, I'm paying Etsy to do market. What's it like? They automatically take out 5% for marketing.
8.5% now.
It's ridiculous, Etsy's fees. I got to get off that. That's a whole nother topic, is just building my own site and getting off of Etsy.
That sounds like another episode. We'll schedule that.
But it's, I was looking at the stats. I was driving huge amounts of my own traffic was just coming from
that's
TikTok.
Awesome, man.
Purely just
and that's why building your own marketing is so important. A lot of people build a business and they forget the marketing aspect, right? People think the surface of I have a product and have a payment processing, but they don't see that there's much more to it. Like you said, there's picking the right material for what you're printing for material. They haven't even considered marketing. Like, how are you going to get eyeballs on your product?
Yeah.
Right.
And even when marketing could be even just how you have your product listed and showcased on your site or over
photos are so important.
Yeah. I mean, I have access to stupid, nice cameras that I use for my YouTube videos. I'm not using those for TikTok. I'm using my phone. I'm not using those for my Etsy listing. I should be. I'm just using my iPhone. And that's how I take most of my pictures, and I crop them and add some other stuff. But I also spent the time of all of 10 seconds, and my cover photo for the dragons on my Etsy listing are like as seen on TikTok. So if someone's going through there, oh, that's the TikTok dragon, and might click on my link.
And so you're tying all of these social media accounts together.
Correct.
That's awesome, man. That's badass.
Weaving it all together is the key. Actually, hold on. I have to look this up for 2 seconds. All right. I've got a crazy stat for you.
Okay.
Of a product that I've sold in the last year. So I sold a lot of dragons, but there is another
$8,000 on a weekend is bonkers.
Yeah, that I didn't do again. That's I have not replicated that. However, in the last year, I sold another product that dwarfs my dragon sales.
Dwarfs an $8,000 weekend. All right, I'm excited to hear this.
It is none other than a cosplay piece.
I knew it.
Some Loki crowns from Nico Industries.
Holy cow!
I have sold, and before I didn't even realize how many. I knew I've sold a lot of those. But before coming on this, I had to go and look at it. It's over 600 Loki crowns I've sold. I've printed over 600 Loki crowns.
Dude, that is, oh my God.
That's a lot of filament. That's a lot of gold silk filament that I've bought
just
and
you.
used. That's just me.
That's just you.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I gotta get these stats.
It's nuts.
I should have had profit share from all you guys.
I mean, you
Nah,
got-
we're good with that, man. There's so much money that's moving. There's so much food on the table. And that's why I'm doing this. I want people to know there's no reason for any of us to be hungry. There's no reason. There's so much room at the table. We can all eat. You know what I mean? There's no need for you to take out my plate. There's no need for people to take off of your plate. There's no reason.
It's again, there's so much opportunity to be making things. I mean, it's not just even the printing side of things. If you're skilled enough, you could even just be making, in the evenings, spending some time starting to design your own files and then selling your files. You don't need it would be amazing to have a nicoindustries.com behind you to sell all your stuff, but you could be selling on Etsy, Colts 3D. I think I looked at the stats from MacGyver's Dragon, and that dude, I think, made like $70,000 on just digital download sales
on one file.
On one file. That's not even his other files down there that are.
I think he actually vastly underpriced that file.
It was only like $3. Well, I mean, so
it was like two something because I bought one.
Yeah. But at the same time, that might be why it was like at such a low price point where it's like, oh, well, I can afford $3 or $2.
He could have sold that for $5 and people would have bought it.
Yeah. It's
maybe even 10.
That's the one aspect that I really want to get into. I made my own skull hanging planter, which I again was like, oh my God, I've got this great idea. I'm getting into plants for my new studio here. I'm going to make a skull planter. I've never seen one of those before. And so I go on Etsy and I'm like, let me look up skull 3D printed planters. Like, good Lord, there's 4,000 of these. But I'm like, all right, well, how can I differentiate mine?
There you go.
Other ones. So I was like, all right, well, theirs aren't hanging planters or
what if there's no ornaments on them? Like the skull itself has designs.
Yes,
right? You texture the skull.
Yeah, exactly. So there's different ways, even when you think that there's a crowded market, that you might be able to carve out your own little section of that is what I'm trying to get to.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
It's such a cool little space for us all to be in.
And we're so early.
Yeah. I mean,
we're still so early.
No.
People don't realize how early we are.
It's one aspect, what's crazy to me is I will toss out an idea for everybody that's listening. Because it's something that I don't think we would all be fighting over each other for. It wouldn't take a lot of design skill, some basic design, some basic Blender skills that you could probably learn through Nico in one of his classes, but is your local town more than likely has some unique businesses and unique buildings. I'm interested in trying to replicate some of these businesses and buildings, 3D printing small miniature one-offs of them. So I might have to spend, if I can figure out how to get this down to like 1 hour, but then be able to charge something like $100 for a 3D printed miniature of their specific house, their business, or whatever it is, and then start marketing that on the local Facebook groups, the community Facebook groups, the businesses.
We'll do that for the, so that's going to be our tip of the day. I'm going to expound on that for our product idea for anyone who wants to start a business. So we'll do that.
There's some really cool, unique companies in my area. And I'm like, man, I would love to just be able to, I'm going to sit down, make a few of them, give them and be like, hey, I'm going to give this to you. Can you just leave it in your reception area? Or if it's like a pizza place, can you leave this in the front of your pizza place? And then on the bottom, slap a QR code to your store. And then you might be able to find local business opportunities via that as well. It's one of these outreach opportunities that you might put in a little bit of effort, but has the potential to bring in a lot of extra income.
I agree. Honestly, there's so much you can do with 3D printing. If you don't want to sell digital files, right? If you don't have any design skills, fine. If you don't want to sell physical prints because Uncle Jesse traumatized you from printing dragons, that's fine. honestly, you can start a
I don't
YouTube
know.
channel and
Yeah.
just review printers.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can start a YouTube channel and just have time lapses of prints, wild rose builds. That's all he does.
I know.
And he has so many subscribers and followers.
And it's not even,
It's
and
bonkers.
it's once you find something that works or is working, beat it to the ground. I'm not going to lie. Just beat it to the ground.
Double down on it. Yes, I agree.
Expand it out. I mean, sorry. All right. I'm going to kick this over to Instagram. I'm going to kick this over to Facebook. Post it around. Try and get it on Reddit in some place. I know that can be a little difficult since Reddit can be a little hard at times to be able to, not come off as advertising, but post what you're making or what you're working on over there and see. You never know how it's going to take off.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So I would ask what's working today in terms of marketing, but I don't need to because you're your own marketing.
I'm telling you, I'm going to triple down. TikTok is unbelievable. Forget I've met so many other creators on that app just because the algorithm there works 1,000 times better than any other social platform of getting new content in front of you. And you don't need anything expensive. Like you don't need any crazy, everybody has a phone on them that can record video. That's all you need. I don't use a special microphone or lighting. My lighting's horrible in 99% of my videos. And it adds to the authenticity of the stuff that you're producing over there. It's just quick to the point content. And it shows off, oh, here's a rainbow Loki crown for Pride Month that I'm making. That it's like,
I want to know how much of those you're going to sell this month.
Man, I'm going to tell you something right now. I haven't posted them yet.
Yes, dude. It's the 17th.
I took pictures. I brought them into Photoshop. I color corrected. I added some text overlays, and I haven't made the posting yet.
It's the 17th. Dude, you got 2 weeks before people are like, oh, it's no longer Pride Month. I'm out. Actually, honestly, I think it doesn't even have to be a Pride Month for you to sell that, dude. No, Pride Month is where you're going to get a lot of sales. Because of it, but year round, dude, you'll sell a ton of that.
I was gonna say that's another tangent is just being mindful of things that are upcoming or whether it's holidays that are coming or events,
current events,
or movies, or there's a meme that goes viral, trying to capitalize on that to hook into that because eyeballs are going to be searching for it to get views to your listing, or when you're posting your marketing content to try and tie into people searching for that. It's all very important when you're thinking of things, because if you're trying to market a Halloween related product in the spring, you're probably not going to get a lot of eyeballs on it. But if it's something Halloween related come August, September, obviously October, it's going to be selling like hotcakes, which is,
you can get your own Spirit Halloween store with the 3D printer.
3D printed cosplay stuff around Halloween, it's impossible to keep up with the demand. It's insane.
The problem with that is it's seasonal, right?
It is very, very, very seasonal.
But if all you do is work for that season, dude, you're good for the rest of the year.
I mean, it's
you make 60 grand in that season, dude. You had a 60 grand side hustle, and that's a wrap, dude. Call it quits. That's done.
I mean, for some people, it doesn't have to be your full-time job doing 3D print. I think for most people, it's not going to be your.
Everyone who I've talked to, it's a side hustle.
It's a side hustle. It brings in, hell, I can remember, what was it, 2 years ago? I was so excited that my Etsy sales brought in enough that it was able to pay for like all of our Christmas. So
dude, that's awesome.
That's all it's meant. Like what it comes down to is like, all right, I've made enough profit in the past few months. I've been able to buy all the stuff for Christmas here, and not like we haven't had to spend any extra income on this.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So that's all I have for question wise. We've so much good content in this.
I could ramble on, man. I don't know if you knew this, but I talk for a living.
Yes. Yes. So what is your for all those listening and all those watching, what is your number one business tip for them?
Ooh, number one business tip for people out there is, I would say, do your research. Again, looking at things like Google Trends, see what's trending. Again, what's up and coming, and being mindful of that to gear your content, your posts, your listings around that. How can you, even if you have something that's not seasonal related, how can I tie that into something that's very popular that might be picked up on someone else's searches? Is important to try and be mindful of. I'm continually editing my listings and the tags and the descriptions to try and make them up to date and relevant. It's not like a one-time thing, but again, it might differ based on the types of things that you're selling, obviously.
Cool, man. So it's time for our product idea for the day. And so earlier we were talking about businesses and local buildings and stuff like that. What you guys can actually do is you can go to a real estate agent, right? A brokerage.
Ooh.
And you can tell them, hey, look, we can get this house and we can 3D model it, right? And you can give it as a gift to the new homeowners when they get it, as, you know, as a marketing tactic, or you can give giveaways of 3D printed houses for real estate agents. You guys, these would sell so well because it's personable. It's going to be cheap to make. I don't think there would be a lot of supports to do it. And it's different, right? You're not competing with anyone with dragons. You're not competing with anyone with props. You're hyper localizing just your town. And you would have those tiny little houses for the real estate agents that they can give away. And then you would charge them what, $4 or $5 for one? You know how much those things cost to make?
Yeah.
30 cents.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was like it could be something specific to the agent that has that agent's information on it that they're leaving with people. It's a cool little giveaway, because agents are always, it's like, here's a pen, here's a magnet.
Right.
Could be
here's a house.
A little bit different. Exactly. And to tie on to what Nico said, here's another idea that I just recently, within the last 6 months, I acquired a building for my printing video needs, which I'm very excited about. But one of the things that they offered me was they had a service that they could bring in that was going to do a 3D scan of the inside of my building. So if I wanted a digital 3D scan that I could walk through digitally of my building, I could pay, I think it was like $150 for that. And I'm 99% sure they're just using an app that was on your phone that they probably paid for. Right. Because I can do that right now with like many apps out there, and you can walk through and scan the whole building. And some of them will even create floor plans from those digital scans, which is another cool opportunity idea that's all tied into this 3D space.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So that's it. Again, Uncle Jesse, congratulations on your 1 year full-time YouTuber. Dude, big milestone for you. So badass. That's it for me. Thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it. All the links that we talked about today to Uncle Jesse's machines, to his YouTube channel, his Etsy shop, his TikTok, all that shenanigans is going to be in the description below. If you guys need help building, starting, scaling your 3D printing side business, go to 3dprintedprofits.com, message me, email me. I'm here to help you guys out. Again, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.
Oh,
bonus content time.
Woo.
Dude, love it. Show me that mango one, man. That drink, dude.
So this is, I haven't cracked this open yet. This is mango.
Is it beer?
It's beer. It's mango cart beer.
Dude.
This is one of my favorite new adult beverages. Outside of the energy drink.
Is it East Coast only? Dude, those give me anxiety. I can't.
That I don't know. I don't think so.
What's the name of that thing? Golden what?
No, it can't be, because it's Golden Road Brewing is in Los Angeles, man. It's by you.
Oh, Golden what? Road?
Golden Road Brewing, and it's called Mango Cart.
Golden Road Brewing.
Very
I like
good.
the mango drinks, dude. Matter of fact,
You know what my favorites are the mango seltzers.
dude, hang on. I'm gonna go get the picture real quick.
If you're watching, if this is going to be on a video, you just saw Nico like morph into Iron Man's gut there.
Hey.
He was like,
Yeah, just warp into them. This is my drink, dude.
oh, hard mango. That's good.
This is my drink.
I'm my wife and I are big seltzer drinkers, and we've got the truly tropical punch ones are so good,
dude.
So good. I don't drink anymore though, man.
No. Yeah, with the beer we just showed. Yep, totally. So
I do drink a lot of these though. These the sugar-free monsters.
So do the sugar-free ones too. Dude, they taste so bad. Except the mango one. It's like I think it's like addicted. A blue can.
I'll have to look for it. I'll have to look and see. But yeah, it's when you coming out to the East Coast, man.
We talked about this summer. I got to see the schedule for the kids.
It's hot and humid right now.
Humid is so.
Hey, you guys have a place to stay. You can stay in the studio here, right on the flooring with the printers. You can manage the printers for me.
Dude, when you come back to the shop, you'll be like, all the things are leveled. Look, all the prints have been processed. I'm like, dude, I couldn't help myself.
Hey, so I just finally. So I've been in here since February, so a few months, 3 months.
Yeah, I was about to say January, February. Yep.
I finally had an electrician come in. I was like,
weren't you supposed to do that when you first bought the building?
Yeah, I know. So my big room is all wired. It's like there's got to be like 30 outlets, and 15 of them are on one line, 15 are on another line. And so if I try to run more than just a few printers at once, it's going to blow the circuit or blow the breaker. So I had him come in. He rewired everything to individual lines for most of the panels.
Was there space in the circuit breaker for new stuff?
Oh yeah, I had a ton of space.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like,
no. He was like, oh man, you're good to go. This is a commercial building, so he was like, I
love that. I love that you own your own building, bro.
I know. This was the deal of the century as well. So I mean, it was. I picked this up for anybody listening. I picked this up from an 80-year-old couple that had owned this
dude goes full time into YouTube and then buys a building.
Man,
last year everything in the middle.
9 months. It took me like 9 months to find a place. We were looking at houses, and the housing market's insane. I was looking at just hole in the wall places that were just horrible, and I was like, I'm gonna have to knock down walls, and then started looking at commercial property. This was perfect. This was already, walls were knocked down, million outlets set up. It was in really good shape, but it had been
in running distance to your house.
It was COVID. COVID hit and the tenants left. So the owners, these 80-year-old couple, it's been sitting vacant for 2 years. So they were like, we just want it gone. We're willing to sell it at what we paid for
at cost.
And I was like, yes.
Bro, yeah, absolutely, man. That's one hell of a deal. There's no way I'm getting that here in Sacramento.
It's
no way.
It's a pretty large space as well. So I want to knock down a wall and install a garage door so that I can pull my car in the winter, because the winters aren't fun here.
No, they're not. I remember you showed me a picture. You rolled up your garage door and your Lexus was like deep in snow. And I said, oh, hell no.
It's just, we get stupid snow here in upstate. It's just, I don't know.
You're not running in the wintertime, dude.
No. And I've gotten back into it, man. I've got an 8 mile. No, sorry, not 8 mile. I'm going to do six miles tomorrow. So,
dude, okay. So when was it? I think it was one of our Zoom calls for Patreon where we had a whole bunch of people on. Oh, no. It was a comment. It was a comment you made on one of my Facebook posts. And you said something 2018, Nico. And I was like, what does 2018 Nico look like? And I went back into my 2018 videos when I first started 3D printing and started my YouTube channel. I was like, dang, I was skinny.
That was me, man. Like 2018, 2019, I'll go back and I'm like, man, I gotta lose a bunch of weight.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Everything sucked.
I was like, I can't do this,
Like
bro.
a solid 20, 30 pounds here. So
I think
like
I was 165 at that time. I'm at 175 now.
that's not bad. That's
And
really good.
It's a visible 175.
If you're all muscle, I'm all dad bod.
I was playing basketball and I was like, I swear I'm a half second slower. I swear to God. I was like, I swear I'm a half second slower. There's no way this dude should be catching up to me right now.
That's me. That's me going for my runs in the morning. I'm like, all right, the first mile, ran the first mile. All right, now I need to walk for a quarter mile. I was like, my 40s are not doing well for my knees hurt.
Dude.
My hip hurts.
Dude, I miss when I didn't make sounds getting up from a chair.
Oh yeah. You can't you can't get up anymore without like creaking or cracking or
dude, you grunt. It's so bad, bro.
You know what I want to start doing? I know we stopped the pod and I'm going to whisper like someone's listening in. I mean, they're listening in, but
this won't be on the podcast. This is all YouTube.
I want to start making 3D printed equipment, like gym equipment.
I'm in. Did you miss my dumbbell video?
Yes, I did.
I 3D printed a dumbbell.
What'd you fill it with?
Sand.
Yeah. So
sand and just put sand, just fill a bit of water actually to make it heavier. It goes. That's some
basic bitch stuff right there. That's not what I want.
You got
so I got
people need to get on YouTube and watch this shit.
I got some ideas. Because I'm on TikTok too much. Like, and I'm on fitness TikTok. I'm like, man, that dude's ripped. What's he working out with? He's got like some specialty equipment that he's working out with. And I was like, man, I need one of those. Let me go on Amazon and see how much that is. Like $300. Are you out of your mind? All right, let me look at the design of that. I think I might be able to.
Honestly, man, Instagram by itself, you can have so many ideas. I'm going through Instagram. I'm an Instagram whore, and I'm going through Instagram, and I'm like, I can make that. I can make that. I can make. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's probably not going to be as strong because they're molded, right? So you can just pump the plastic in there. And I was like, I can make that. I can make that. I can make that. And I was like, dude, how much are these guys selling this shit for? You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Have you seen I'm sure you've seen it before because I saw it on Facebook or Instagram an ad. It looks like Thor's hammer, but it's a weight. It's like a kettlebell, but it's a Thor hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how? One, that's a fucking good idea.
Right?
Because my dumb ass is like, I'd use that.
Dude, no joke. And all you have to do is, so you would 3D print the head
and just fill it,
put concrete in there, and then put a PVC pipe or a rebar for reinforcement, and then put the 3D printed part on top to seal it. And then you got it.
My thing is like, how are you going to be able to, you got to figure out the volume to the cement mixture so that you get the right weight rate. Like, how am I going to make sure that this only weighs 20 to 25 pounds?
Honestly, man,
75 pounds.
If you look at kettlebells, they're not, exact weights. Here's how you would put, this is light, this is medium, this is heavy as shit. Right? You put Loki, Thor, Odin. Which one you want to be?
Oh man. So here's the other cool idea that I had that I wanted to make that's so out there and dumb is so one of my buddies is big into like shooting and going to target ranges and stuff like that. I'm zero interest in any of these things. But what I wanted to do was make 3D printed inserts of a skeleton and then have like a mold that you could make of a target, and then you could shoot the skeleton through the mold. I don't know if any of that makes
No, I
sense
can't.
whatsoever.
I'm trying to
So
picture
it's
it.
like a clear, it looks like a clear torso, and you see a skeleton and like a plastic skeleton, and you're
So
able
like
to,
a frame,
yeah. So it's like I'm making basically a mold, like a jello mold. Think of it like a jello mold.
like a ballistic Jello mold.
Yes. And then there's a 3D printed skeleton inside of it.
So you would just basically put the skeleton inside ballistics gel.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So just 3D print a skeleton and then go to a gun shop or a ballistics gel manufacturer.
I mean, I would sell it to my friend and his buddies. So
Dude. Yeah, man. No, there's so many ideas, bro. There's so many ideas for it, man. There's
some wild dumb stuff.
the application for this is beyond even what we can think.
Oh yeah. I clearly, what I'm interested in is like locally getting into business with some of the the companies around here that are interested in prototyping some of the things that they're working on. Where I live, I know there are people that have 3D printers, but there's not a lot. Like if I go online and just search, there's not a lot of people that have 3D printing businesses locally. So trying to set that up and garner some. Did I tell you about the chairs, man? That company that reached out to me about the chairs.
That's it for bonus material. Say bye. Say Uncle Jesse. Say bye.